Yesterday was a really good day. So I've got a few charts we can thumb through if that's of interest.
Let's do it.
Okay. The funny one for me was the Russell futures, because so here we have the RTY going back till the to the bottom at the end of March. And it's been having this really interesting relationship with its trend line, because you can see it was steady as she goes. It broke it here, fell hard, and then since then it's been playing jump rope with it. And yesterday, which is really atypical of me to do this, because I'm usually a short it and hope it holds on for a few months kind of guy. I don't do really short-term trades or anything. But yesterday, based upon its strength and where it was in relation to this line, it was quite high yesterday. I bought IWM 301 puts that expire today. In other words, yesterday I bought puts that would have going to expire the next day, and they did nicely. I got out with a 70% plus profit. At the end of the day, it was like 120%, and I was upset at myself. I'm no longer upset. I'm glad I got out. That was the old, better to be lucky than smart definitely held true on that one. And I sometimes think maybe there's something to this. Maybe I should do more of that kind of thing. But it's a really interesting relationship, because it's just it's tighter and tighter and tighter. It's just clinging to that trend line as we move along in time. Kind of an interesting phenomena. Meta was really cool yesterday, because on the show yesterday I made mention that they were making big news by saying we're going to kind of lease out our AI infrastructure, which to me, the market treated as fantastic news. Hey, a new revenue stream. And I instantly, dark-hearted soul that I am, I instantly saw this as like, oh, that's a tacit admission that you ain't winning in the AI space. So you got to sell out what you got. I made a metaphor of like, if I was going to be the taco king in America, I was going to open up Tim's Tacos all over the place. And then before I opened my first store, started selling taco shells and ground beef to anybody that would take, that wanted them. Same deal. You're selling off the parts instead of the whole schmear. And so Meta had this explosive move yesterday. I shorted that sucker at a good price, and it's down today pretty hard. It's actually below yesterday's lows. So that's gone pretty good, because long term, these guys have been doing nothing but hammering out a series of lower highs. Bang, diddy, bang, diddy, bang, diddy, bang. All along the way, you'll get these little spurts, and then this bloody tooth bear shows up. In turn, it was interesting because SpaceX yesterday, mirroring Meta's strength, fell really hard, because one of SpaceX's key revenue streams in their prospectus was selling off access to their Colossus AI hyperscale infrastructure. And so it's like, ooh, we got competition now. So SpaceX basically undid all the goodness from Monday and Tuesday in a single session. The NQ, very range bound still. We've been range bound for weeks now, banging around this. We're sort of smack dab in the middle right now. So don't feel bad if you have no idea what to do at this point, because it's just a mess. I still do my whole bottoms up thing. I try to pick individual stuff. SMH, this one came terrifyingly close on Tuesday to violating its price gap, because God is merciful. It did not, and it fell yesterday, and today kind of steady as she goes. We've basically kind of an inside day so far. And then XLK, which I came into the day, which I shorted on this strength. I'm still in that position, and we maybe a penny or two push past that gap, but between friends, that's fine. We'll consider that gap sealed. And a change of pace, a few long ideas for a change. This one, not a lot of people talking about. KTOS. This, for those of you who believe that warfare is basically fundamentally changed with drones and so forth, this is an interesting one to watch. It had an enormous run in the months within and just after the war. It's burned off well more than half of its value, but long term, this is an interesting one worth watching. KTOS, getting kind of in the vicinity of major support. One that's appealing right this second is PACS, PAX Group. And this one has just broken above this really nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. So we're pushing higher on this. And I think these are, I usually don't have any idea what these stocks do, but this one's, I think, related to retirement communities. But this is breaking to a lifetime high on a nice little pattern there. So PAX. And then an old favorite, and I see these everywhere, Rivian. This one, yeah, it's having a really nice day. It's been a real squirrely creature because, as you can see, it has this whole series of bases and pops. So it's like zoink, 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 zoink. So it's a real trickster. It never really, just fundamentally just moves higher and doesn't look back. But long term, as you can see, what have we got? Higher lows each time. Yes, it gets beaten down, but higher lows each time. And we've conquered this gap right here. So this is pushed in a matter of days from around 14 to, almost 20 at this point. And last one, old Michael Saylor. Here's strategy, MSTR. And I'm a crypto bear, and I'm probably getting kind of pretty itchy fingers right now to short this because we have had he said a good week, undoing a lot of the damage from the week prior. But I think we're at an important, it's not major, but important resistance point, which could be for an interesting risk-reward ratio if Bitcoin does resume its fall. That's it.
Do you have any charts? I mean, I know you just looked at MSTR, but do you look at the Bitcoin charts or the cryptos at all?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Now I usually use my own charting platform, but I use this one on the show. And one thing that's thrown me a bit, and I mentioned this yesterday, is that it used to be $/BTC, and now it just sort of stares at me like, "What do you want?" So that doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure why. So I kind of cheat and just use like IBIT.
Yeah, I think it's a good proxy for it.
Yeah. So in any case, Bitcoin is down about 50-ish% since October, and I'm looking for it to get to say 40,000. But yeah, it's been like the Bitcoin futures up 2175 right now, so it's been bouncing back. But you know how I am. I just see it as another opportunity to short it. So
yeah, so you still see this slide. That's right. I was interested because you were looking at MSTR and you still think it's going to continue to slide.
Yeah, that's my cheaty way of talking about crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
We're still in the midst of that 4-year cycle, Liz. Can't get away from it in Bitcoin.
No, you can't. I just like that the three of us, Chris, Liz, and Tim, are all bullish Rivian. Go Rivian.
I got Gus for that today.
Yeah, no, look, it's time for Tim shame, which is my other specialty. When it was down around 14, I was thinking, now's a good time to buy, and I didn't bother. And now $5 later, it's like, oh, you really are a challenged soul, aren't you?
But it's probably hard, Tim, for you to buy. I mean,
It is. I'm preternaturally unable to do so. The only long positions in my life I've had success with are those I can't get rid of, like real estate. So, anything I can click a button, it's like, oh, Amazon at 50 cents. Hey, 51 cents. I'm out of there, Story of my life.
It's so funny because I was talking yesterday with my husband because we've been looking just at stupid real estate. And I was like, if there was a buy now button, I would be in because I need the instant gratification of that.
Oh, gosh. We should make that product. There's actually there's a product in Japan right now, or maybe it's Korea, where you can order food on an app. It's just a fake app. It doesn't actually do anything. No one shows up at your door. But like they're gamifying the consumer experience because people just like that so much.
Back to Star Trek. That reminds me of a Star Trek episode. I forget the name of it. It's the one where they visit a planet which basically performs war via computer. And so they'll have computer simulations of war with their opponent, and then the totals of like the dead will show up, and then those number of people basically go into disintegration chambers and get killed. So it's basically like a neutron bomb. So they're able to have war, experience war, suffer the casualties of war, yet none of the infrastructure is harmed. Well, I guess that's more violent than the food app, but you get what I mean.
That is extraordinarily violent.
It's a little different. I thought you were going to go to like a Kobayashi Maru.
We can talk about. Hey, I don't like to lose, right? I know. Give me an apple, I'll crunch it. We'll make it. I'll be the closing second of the show.
Any big plans for the 4th of July before we let you go? You can do that. It's genetic if you can do it or not. Chris, let's see if you can do it.
Do what?
So the live long and prosper. Some people can do it, some people can't.
Yeah, I was raised more in Star Wars, so.
Okay, the reasons to love Liz just get longer every day.
That's right, Tim.
Thanks so much for joining the show. Happy 4th of July.
Have a great weekend.
Enjoy your weekend off.